What's going on, guys? Welcome to this behind the scenes look at 3 days of 3 straight dunk sessions, something that I've never done before. So this whole video is going to be kind of an experiment in itself by actually showing you guys and sharing with you guys 3 straight days of dunk sessions, but I'm also going to be doing this video in a different format that I've never done, and that is by sharing my screen with you guys and actually going through the dunk sessions day by day and analyzing some of the jumps and dunks on screen a little differently than I did in that last dunk session video. So let's jump over to my screen and I will talk through this video with you guys. Here we go. By the way, I know I was wearing this shirt in the last dunk session video, but shout out to Steven in the Dunk Life. Alright guys, welcome to this behind the scenes look at how these dunk session videos are actually edited and made. But yeah, so I took these 3 days of dunk sessions and I've already cut it down to 8 minutes and 21 seconds, but I don't really have a set time frame that I want to make this video. I just kind of want to go over the 3 days of dunk sessions with you guys, talk through some of the jump technique stuff, some of the dunk attempts, and then just let the video play at certain points too. But really, I just want to make this kind of like a live stream, or almost like I'm like talking to you guys in person, because I've had some questions on making jump technique videos and stuff. So those are just some of the things I wanted to go over with these 3 days of dunk sessions, and also make it like a new type of experimental video by showing you guys a different format. So I'm just going to get started here by going over day one, which was cut. I had to cut this dunk session a little bit short because I got to the gym late, so I was only dunking for probably 30-40 minutes after the warm-up and everything. So in this dunk session, I really focused on dribble dunks more than lobs, but as you guys will see, in actually day three, which was today, I focused on more lobs and more windmill attempts, which I actually hit my best windmill of these 3 days today. So you guys will see that coming up towards the end in the last dunk session day. So I want to get started. So usually with these dunk sessions, I usually always start off with a miss. It's just I'm not fully warmed up yet. My timing's usually a little off. So I start off with a miss there, and then just a lob attempt, and then started off, like I said, in this dunk session with a lot of dribble dunks, and particularly the ones that are more challenging to me, which are these two-hand dribble dunks. And I was doing really well with these starting from the beginning, so I just kind of stuck with the dribble dunks in this dunk session. And I actually noticed something today, that when I have a dunk session where I focus on more dribble dunks, I'll usually sacrifice some windmill attempts because I feel like the dribble dunks take more out of me. I don't know, there's kind of a theory there. But yeah, so I'm going to go over the jump technique with this two-hand attempt, because I think this is probably the best two-hand dunk I've had ever, so on this rim and ever. So yeah, so usually when I do dribble dunks, I'll start off from like an angle, usually starting from like lined up with the free throw line for two-hand dribble dunks, and then I'll come in with like a four-step approach. So as you guys see, that's 1, 2, and then the third and fourth step will be my fastest step, so I'll let that play in regular speed. So notice how like the third and fourth step are by far the fastest of any of the 4 steps or the 2 steps before it. And that's just to really focus on taking all of my momentum vertical and just minimizing the ground contact time. So right here, it's just that that last 1-2 pop step and then up. So that's really what I focus on with these dribble dunks, is just getting as much speed as I can in the initial part of it, and then taking that vertical in the last 2 steps. And usually I'll plant and go up with dribble dunks. That's probably about 2 to 3 feet away from the rim. I don't like to jump too close to it, because that's a bad habit I had when I first started to dunk. Actually, was just jumping too close to the rim, and a lot of my momentum would get wasted going horizontal. So I've gotten a lot better with taking my momentum vertical instead of horizontal. So so that was probably my best two-hand dribble dunk I've had yet. So I'm just gonna let the rest of this day one kind of play and let you guys watch it. So I had a lot of dribble dunk attempts in this day one, but I cut this one a little short because I got to the gym late. So that was probably one of my best two-hand lob attempts right there. In terms of how high I actually got on that one. By the way, that was a dance crew behind me, just to let you guys know, in case you're wondering. And I always notice, like, when people are around, I have so much more adrenaline. Like, I just felt like they walked in pretty much right at the beginning of my dunk session, and I don't know, I just had more of a rush to dunk better, jump higher, whatever it was. I was just really focused on jumping as high as I could, and not really, not even focusing, just not even really thinking about much, just dunking. But yeah, so I just noticed that when people are around, I just jump higher. Because right when they left, I felt like if you guys see this two-handed attempt right here, it was definitely a lot. I jumped a lot lower than in the beginning of the session. And then I finished this dunk session by actually not hitting a windmill, and as of late, since I've been able to hit windmills on this rim, I've really wanted to finish dunk sessions by hitting a windmill, but in this dunk session, like I said, this was probably the best attempt I had, and I didn't hit one after this. But as you guys will see in day 2 and 3, my windmill attempts started to get better. And by day 3, I was focusing more on the windmills, which was day 3 is today. So I started to focus more on windmills and actually hit a couple. Probably my strongest one yet, and then my best rotation yet. Yeah, so I ended with a strong miss on this day 1 dunk session, and then day 2 I wanted to include the warm up because I did a little bit of a different warm up in this video. I'm gonna skip through some of the warm up just to kind of show you guys like what I did. I'll just kind of scrub through it, but I always start off with like a hip and glute opening exercise. So right here I just did side to side walks with this resistance band, and then after this I did front to back. So this was going from pretty much under the rim to the baseline. So I did this 2 sets of each for both of these, or for all of these exercises, or for these first 2 exercises. And then after that I did, so this was a new exercise that I wanted to include and show you guys. So I actually, if you guys can see it, I actually hooked the resistance band to that door over there. And I did this in my dorm room. If you guys saw my Instagram story that I posted a couple days ago, I just thought about trying this because I've seen it. I thought I've seen it like in either in a high jump video or something like that to work on mobility and like hip flexor mobility. And I found this to be actually really helpful in my hip flexors, and I felt really loose in that area after doing this, which I've never really felt that loose from doing any type of mobility work or anything. So I would definitely recommend giving these a try if you guys have a resistance band. So I just did 10 of these on each side, almost like in a skip type of skip type of form. And then after this I did some heavier banded squats. And like if you guys don't have any resistance bands or anything, it's just good to do any type of dynamic warm up just to get yourself loose, and just to get a good sweat going before you guys actually jump. Because I did an experiment, and this is my experience, but I did an experimental video where I just started off cold, and I felt like I was gonna get injured if I kept going. So I just ended up just doing some like lighter jumps and dunk attempts after that, and just throughout that whole session it just felt like I was never really warmed up, because usually it takes me like 20 to 25 minutes to feel like I'm fully warmed up or actually loose enough to start dunking and jumping. So yeah, I just finished off with more dynamic warm-up stuff. So here I'm just doing walking lunges with the basketball, walking forward and backwards. Just let it play for a second. And also adding like a rotation to that too. And then after that I did these lizard crawls, which this is, I mean, it might not have any practical, might not be practical for jumping, but in terms of like just opening up your body and opening up your upper body and lower body, it's just really good. Just a really good exercise to warm up your whole body as just compared to your legs or upper body by itself. So more of a whole body exercise. Okay, then after that is when I actually got into the dunk session. But I also included, so I forgot that I included this in there too. So this is the second part of the warm up that I'll usually do. So there I'll do my the exercises, and then I'll get into some like the second part of my dynamic warm up, which is just some shooting and just jumping around. I'll just kind of scrub through this really fast so I can get to the actual dunk session. But yeah, so I usually do some light shooting and jumping just to continue to move and get loose and warmed up. And I also did the side to side leg swings and front to back in this for the second part of this warm up. So yeah, like I said, I'll start off with the dynamic warm up and stretches and actual exercises, and then get into just some light shooting and jumping around just to continue to get loose before I actually start dunking. So yeah, so in this one I started off with a dribble dunk, and I actually hit my first dunk attempt, which usually I won't hit my first dunk, but I did hit my first dunk attempt in this dunk session. And I actually felt like a pretty good. It really got me going because it felt like a really strong dunk to start off with. So that just kind of got some momentum going for the rest of the dunk session. I'll just let it play through here a little bit. So I posted this on my I posted this to my Instagram too because I thought this was really close to being the best two-hander I've ever gotten because of how I felt like I got higher in this two-hand compared to the day one two-hand. So I just kind of want to scrub through it slower. Something else with the approach to the two-hand dribble dunk is same thing. I usually always have like a 4-step approach and then that longer third step and then a quicker fourth step into almost like the pop foot into the jump. And with two-hand attempts, or with dribble dunk attempts in general, I usually always have that point of bringing the ball in when my third step is at its longest, and then as soon as my fourth step comes in, that's when I'll start to transfer that momentum vertical. So yeah, so that one just felt like it was my highest. It was my highest two-hand yet. Maybe not the cleanest looking two-hand, but definitely my highest two-hand I've gotten yet. And this is day 2 of the 3 days. It was definitely different doing 3 days of dunk sessions. Oh yeah, that was another thing that I was asked to do was this was just I was just going over just making sure I'm not jumping too close to the rim. Because like I said, that was a bad habit that I used to do is just jump too close to the rim, so I was losing some of that momentum horizontal instead of going vertical. But yeah, so I was also asked to do some 1-foot jump or dunk attempts, and I haven't tried 1 foot in a little while, probably since the dunk session in Florida. But in this one, I actually I hit a light 1-foot dunk, as you guys will see in this video. I'll let it play though a little more. So that was my first attempt at a 1 foot in this one. I missed another two-hand there. Oh, and this is probably the strongest dunk from the side that I've ever gotten. I was not expecting when this ball was in my hand, I did not even think I was going to be able to get it to the rim, but then I don't know what happened. I just let my momentum take me to the rim and dunked it. Yeah, so that was by far the strongest dunk from the side that I've ever gotten. As you guys will see with the windmills and this dunk, usually the best dunks I hit are ones that look the fastest in terms of like rotation or takeoff. Everything just looks fast when it's a better dunk. So yeah, I just noticed that trend. Yeah, that was also pretty strong two-hand. Brought it back a little bit, very little bit. I let that one go in slow-mo. But again, like look at the force. It took off again from that angle, and then that was my first step, 2, and then 3rd, and then 4th up to the rim. Yeah, so let's let some more play. And let me know what you guys think of this format for this video. I just wanted to go over some of it in this way so I can actually talk through some of the technique and jumps a little more closely. Yeah, and this was probably the best reverse I've ever got. This one I was actually, so the last reverse that I got, that was my best one. I wasn't really planning on doing that. It was just the way the direction the ball went on the lob that I just kind of jumped and did a reverse. But this one I was actually trying to do a reverse on, and I felt like it was the best one I've ever gotten and the farthest I've ever jumped for a reverse. And doing these type of dunks where I actually like turn my body is pretty new to me, so it's something I'm really gonna work on getting better at. Because like I said, like when I start to get better with one dunk, I really like to push it and then start to work at other dunks that I can't hit yet, even though it might be frustrating, and I just want to keep hitting the other ones. I just like to keep challenging myself to keep progressing with different dunks. So yeah, I'll let it play from here then. Did some more one hand dribble dunks, and that was the left 1 foot dunk that I actually hit in this dunk session. jumping off of 1 foot is definitely a weaker point for me than jumping off of 2. But as my 2 foot has gotten better, my 2 foot dunking has gotten better. My 1 foot has kind of come along. It has come a long way. From before, I feel like I wasn't even able to jump off of 1 foot. So actually hitting a dunk on this rim off of 1 foot was just showing the progress that I've made since the beginning of tracking these dunk sessions. Just some more lobs. Another two-hand dribble dunk. So this was I think the first and only windmill I hit in this dunk session. It was a pretty light windmill, but definitely got me motivated to want to hit another one. I don't think I hit another one in this one. Another one-hand glitch. See, this stuff happens. I don't know. I don't see it that much in dunkers videos, but like this stuff definitely happens. I just saw one with Isaiah. If you guys know Isaiah Rivera, Steven, I guess, just made a clip of him glitching like this, and I don't know what happens, but you just go up and stuff doesn't work, so that's what happens. Okay, so I didn't remember if I hit another windmill in this dunk session or not, but that was the second baby windmill I hit in this dunk session. Definitely got stronger in the third one. I probably hit my strongest, like I said, strongest windmill and best rotational windmill yet in that dunk session, so I think this one has a couple more attempts, and then day 3. And that one I'm also going to go over. That one was my strongest miss, I think, of any windmill I've had yet in terms of like rotation and actual like just power in a windmill. So yeah, so like I said, with these windmills and other like trick dunk attempts that I can't hit yet, if they look, the ones that look the fastest and just like most fluid are usually the best and cleanest looking dunks. So you guys will see in day 3 I'll go over a windmill more closely, but yeah, that was probably the best miss I had of this session. And then yeah, now it's as I showed you guys, it's day 3 now, which is today. So yeah, so in this dunk session I started off with a lot more lobs compared to dribble dunks because I just wanted to put my focus more on I guess like warming up for a windmill. So I started off with a lot more lob attempts in this one than dribble dunks. As you guys will see, started off with very weak misses in this one. And then hit a two-hand there, kind of got me going. And then hit a pretty strong one-hand. So look at that two-hand again. That might have been the farthest I've ever brought a two-hand lob back. And with these, like, if you guys are practicing lobs or anything, you know, really don't be afraid to push yourself in terms of like how far you're jumping from the rim, because sometimes you might feel like you have no chance at the ball or getting the ball to the rim, but I don't know, sometimes it's just by magic it seems like somehow you get it there and dunk it. Or if you're just working on lobs in general, just don't be afraid to go for ones that you just feel like you might not get there, because I mean that's how you're going to push yourself in ways that you haven't yet, is by attempting those lobs or those attempts that you think that just might fail. So go for those. Went for a little reverse there. Yeah, so in this one I was just really, from the beginning when I started to hit those lobs, I was just thinking, you know, I want to hit a strong windmill in this dunk session, so that's what I was going for. Missed one there. Yeah, I think this was the first one I hit because I added some slow-mo to it. But yeah, so with these windmill attempts, usually I'll start again at the top of the key or a little to the right, and then the lobs with these is a lot different compared to throwing a lob for just for like a normal, like a one-hand or two-hand attempt. These ones are usually a lot lower, and I've been having some difficult, like the biggest thing that's the most difficult thing for me has been getting the ball to actually lobbing the ball in a place where it's not going to spin too far past the rim, so I don't have to bring it back as much. So usually if I can get that right, I'll actually hit the windmill or get pretty close to hitting it. So this was the first attempt I had, or this was the first made I had in this session today. Yeah, so let's let it play. So again, notice the lob is a lot lower and more towards the middle of the paint. And then with this one compared to a normal lob, it definitely has to be faster. I feel like it has to be faster than just throwing just throwing a lob to hit like a 1 or 2 hand dunk. Yeah. So that was my the first windmill of this one. And another one hand there. Windmill miss. That one was another one I was surprised that I even hit because of how far the ball was back, or how far back the ball was. So yeah, again, I just want to reiterate that point that if you guys are trying at lobs and you guys think that you might have thrown a bad toss or it's too far, just go for it. You never know what'll happen. So yeah, that was probably one of the farthest lobs I've had in terms of bringing the ball back. And this is probably the strongest one-hand dunk I had in this session, in this session, but strongest one-hands I've ever had. So at this gym, I have to watch for staff, and I feel like that takes me out of my focus a lot, but I need to just get better at just refocusing and really not letting it get to me as much as just focusing on jumping and dunking in the session. So yeah, I feel like I hit this because before this I kind of had a pep talk with myself and just said, don't worry about it, just jump and focus on dunking. So yeah, this one just got me going even more, and this is when I started to really think about hitting the windmill in this session. But yeah, so this was probably the farthest takeoff I've had on a one-hand dribble dunk. Yeah, after that miss, I was just thinking like the next one I'm gonna hit. So yeah, that was probably the strongest windmill I've hit yet. I don't know why I don't know, my technique looks kind of weird with windmills, I feel like, but it's getting better. For some reason I kick my legs out, like you guys will see here. But in the second windmill I hit in this dunk session, it was probably the cleanest looking one. That might have been the strongest one, but the next one in this session was probably the cleanest one I've hit yet. So yeah, so with these windmills, again, I usually go for the middle of the paint with these, and then on the third and fourth step is when I'll meet the ball, and usually I'll try to get it to where I meet the ball like at my chest area or a little bit lower, so it's a little bit easier to start the rotation and then actually go into the windmill. But yeah, I'll let this play again. Skip ahead. Start from here. Then arm swing is another thing I want to talk about. So it's really important, like if you guys want to get the max out of your jumps, is to time your arm swing or practice timing your arm swing right. I mean, I don't think I've even gotten it down as best as I can get it yet, but you want to time your arm swing to almost like uncoil yourself when you start to go into, like almost when you start to coil, you want your arm swing to kind of help you extend up into jumping vertically into your jump. So yeah, if you guys notice, my arms are starting to go back when my third step is touching down, but then as soon as my fourth step comes, that's when I'm going to start focusing on going vertical, which is when my arms are going to come through and help get me there. So this was probably the strongest miss I've had of any windmill. Just looking at the rotation of it and how high I actually got, this is probably the strongest miss I've had of any windmill yet. Then after this, I was just like, I gotta hit another one. I gotta hit another one. So you guys will see. I'll hit one more and then yeah. So this one was, yeah, like I said, by far the cleanest windmill I've had yet in terms of like height and rotation. I just felt like it looked prettier because my legs weren't bent in the air when I actually finished it. So yeah, it's probably the best windmill I've hit yet. But then I just ended. I ended with another windmill miss, which I'll show you guys in a second. But I wanted to just kind of talk through the end of this video after this and give you guys a little bit of a recap. So yeah, ended with that miss. But now I'm going to come out of the screen and actually give you guys just a little bit more of a recap on this video and why I did it like this. Okay guys, so I hope you guys enjoyed the format of this video. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below, but I wanted to do this type of video so I can actually talk through the dunk session with you guys, talk through some jump technique stuff, and actually go through 3 days of dunk sessions, something I've never done before with you guys, and kind of make this like an experimental video, but then also show you guys a new format at the same time. So I wasn't really planning on doing 3 days of dunk sessions, but the way that the first dunk session went, I just thought it was too short, and then the second one didn't hit a windmill, or didn't hit the windmill I wanted to. So and then I was thinking, you know, okay, I'll just have a third one. And since it was like a Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I knew the gym wasn't going to be busy, so I just thought, why not try 3 days of dunk sessions and see how it goes. But overall, I feel like my body is definitely more sore than usual after dunking and jumping. So probably going to take tomorrow as a rest day, and then either Tuesday or Wednesday start to work out again. Either take Tuesday as just a strictly like mobility active rest day, or go back into a workout. So yeah, that's just kind of what I thought overall of the dunk sessions. It was surprising though to me that day 3 it looked the best, because I feel like I hit my strongest windmill in that one. But then again, in day 1 I hit stronger dribble dunks than in day 3, but then in day 2 I had some pretty good lob attempts and dribble dunks in that one. So it was just kind of a mix, but I just feel like today my body was the most worn of any of the days. So I just feel like tomorrow should be a rest day, and then from there I'll start to go back into my workouts and then dunk session again. So yeah, that's kind of want to end with this video. I want to thank you guys for watching again, and I will see you guys later.